So I recently just finished my sketchbooks. Let's do a sketchbook tour. Hi guys! So we are going to be doing another sketchbook tour with 2 sketchbooks, and the reason for this is because the specific sketchbooks I use are technically not very long if you do a single page each time. So that's why I decided I kind of like these videos to be a little bit longer so I can explain some of the things that I've drawn in them. It's not like a regular sketchbook flip through video where I just flip through the pages. It's literally me talking about my character universe. I know a lot of you guys like that. If you don't, well, I'm sorry. So before I go into the first sketchbook, I just want to address that yes, they do have crossing over dates, and this is because I received this sketchbook in a scrawler box, so I started it when I got the scrawler box for the ideas that combined both the March and the April boxes. If you would like to go see that video, I will leave it in an iCard. So let's actually start with this one since it has the earlier date. Now the stickers, I'm just going to run through the stickers very quickly. These were from a scrawler box. I think they were from the same month, so they look really, really pretty together. There's no stickers on the back this time, and then down here we have a Loka sticker. This is one of my OC Kingdoms emblems. I have a couple of them just printed out as stickers, just as like test stickers for a convention that I'm going to be doing later on this year. So I would just use the scrap stickers on my sketchbook. So let's open it up. So I started out this sketchbook by actually doing some live sketches. I was actually sitting in a cafe and just looked out the window and did some live sketching. So then we get on to the Instagram Designs My Character video. This is from the 3rd episode in the series, and I really loved the way this character turned out. So you can actually see the process. I actually do the sketching live in that video. Now obviously it's live being chopped down into manageable, watchable sections, but I will leave a link to that video in the iCard if you would like to watch it. And you can see my entire thought process through it. This character's name, I ended up naming him Michael. I kind of wanted a name that matched the name Gabriel because Michael is Gabriel's brother, and Gabriel is the love interest of Skylar. And for those who have been on my channel for a long time, Skylar is a character who is one of the main 7 that I originally introduced before this whole character universe even existed. So Michael went through some tattoos, and I really, really love the way his tattoos look. It just looks so, so good. And then we go through all of the color combinations I went through in the video. I was very indecisive. Oh my god, there's an actual chocolate wrapper in there. I think that's from the insides of my bag. Whoops. But I think that's quite relatable, to be honest. That bit of chocolate wrapper is just me. So then we have 2 sketches that are kind of similar, but they're not. So these 2 sketches actually contain the same characters. So Iris can be seen here and here. So these are 2 separate scenes with Iris. So the first one is of Iris and Argus. Now, Iris and Argus have quite the tragic romance. Now, they love each other so much, but the timing that ends up happening with their relationship just does not coincide with anything good. But really speaking, they do end up getting that happy ending. It's just at this point in time, they don't end up getting it. Now this little sketch up here was actually supposed to be Melissa. I haven't drawn Melissa in a long time and I need to, but yeah, that didn't work out too well, and I just ended up drawing Iris and Argus and also little Scarlet. So then I did some poses. I can't remember exactly what this is for. I think I was trying to decide exactly what to draw. I think these two sketchbooks actually really do give you an insight to my brain when there's good days and bad days of art block. So there's some days where it looks like it's non-existent, and then there's days where it looks like this. Like, what is even going on? Oh, it continues! Oh no! What is... I don't even remember what this is for. Like, how? What? I'm confused. Anyway, so this is Briar. Now, Briar is a princess of Verona and Nicholas's sister-in-law. She was supposed to end up getting married off, but instead she decides, I'll just become an adventurer. She's always liked traveling around different kingdoms and experiencing different cultures, so I kind of imagined her as a traveler kind of princess, and she would be the leader of some pirates, even though these pirates aren't particularly violent. So then we have some more sketches. So this is actually supposed to be Verona, and I'm not entirely convinced about this design, honestly. I mean, it's kind of an okay idea. I mean, look at that little gem lamp down there. Doesn't that remind you of like Spyro 1's, I think it's Icy Cavern? Oh god, level names escape me at this critical moment. And then we have designs for Queen Veronica. Now, Veronica is Vanessa and Briar's mother. Now, Vanessa is Nicholas's wife, and then obviously Briar on the previous page. I just did some watercolor in the background just to set the sketches in place, and I did this mainly because I knew that there was going to be some transfer, and at least with the watercolor protecting these sketches, it's just easy to differentiate it. Then we get on to Anthony and Lucille Icaluco. Now, for those who don't know, these are Loki's cousins. And these two characters are actually really important, even though they're very minor characters. I love when minor characters become really integral parts of the story. And the thing about my OC universe, Marriner, is the fact that the universe isn't just one story, it's just every character that is in this world has their own story, which I think is really, really cool because it's like real life. Everybody's perspective is different. So first I went into Anthony and about him, and he actually has a couple of characteristics that I've written up here. I don't know whether you can actually read them. I don't know whether my handwriting is legible, so I'll just go over them quickly. He is quite the arrogant and quite the stress case. He is actually third in line to the throne behind his mother and then Loki. He is an incredibly uptight type of person, and especially when Loki goes missing from her kingdom, he becomes second in line to the throne. So he becomes even more important and he becomes more stressed. He's a little bit of a stress case, but literally same. To be honest, he's an overthinker, so I definitely put my overthinking nature into Anthony right here. So his outfit is very similar to Nicholas's, however, the colouring of it would be completely different, so they would be very much distinguishable. So Michael, the character from the Instagram Designs My Character video, would be his potential love interest. Then we go over to Lucille. Now this is me trying to decide what Lucille was going to look like. So in terms of Lucille's outfit, I got that down pretty quickly. I really liked the way it looked straight away. So in contrast to Anthony, she is very calm and collected. So she is very deadpan in her humor as well. And Anthony and Lucille are actually seen together quite a lot. Because she is the daughter of the king's youngest sister, she is further down the line of succession than Antony is. She's actually 5th in line to the throne of Loka. I went through several different hairstyles with her, and the one I finally decided on was this one because she just looked the most natural. So then we have the Scrawlrbox swatches. This is a sketch of Loka, like the inside of one of the rooms of Loka. Now this sketch I actually use as a basis for a final illustration that is for a personal project that I'm working on. I did actually stream the watercolor process of this piece. Whether I'll make it into a final video, I don't know yet. But if you would actually like to see the watercolor piece put into a video form instead of like the stream format, just comment down below. So then we have the final sketch of Antony and Lucille. So this was me just trying to put together all of the ideas that I'd had for both of these characters, just polish it up a little bit. Yes, my sketches aren't very polished. So with Antony's outfit, you can actually see I decided to change up the way it looks at the bottom. So Nicholas's outfit doesn't really look like this. So this further distinguishes the silhouettes of both Antony and Nicholas. Antony, like Loki, does not like Nicholas in the slightest. So there's that. So then we go on to a couple of ideas for the Scrawlrbox. This is when I realized I was doing it in the wrong sketchbook. So here's that. So we actually have some Enchantress ideas because it was Enchantress and Words of Wisdom. And I thought, this could be a good idea. Now this was something I sketched in my Slimming World group on a post-it note, so I just stuck it in my sketchbook. And this was before I filmed my video with the cheap watercolor battle type of video. So I actually used this as kind of like a basis for what I would do for that video. Originally I was trying to use it for this Scrawlrbox video, but it didn't really work out the way I wanted it to because the colors weren't there for what I wanted. Then we have Elias and Lorelei. Now Elias is another one of the Instagram Designs My OC characters. He was from episode 2. I love Elias. He is so fun to draw. I think out of all of the characters that I've created for the Instagram Designs My OC videos, Elias is the best one to draw. I just love the fact that he's just mean, but like he has this really insane curly, which I imagine would be matted in some way, hair. In this picture, literally there's like this slow burn romance that goes on between one of the adopted princesses and this eel character. So then we have more Iris and Argus sketches, which break my heart because I think in terms of the tragedy of the love story aspect, I think these two characters they hit hard very much. So we have a pen sketch up here and then a couple of pencil sketches. So then we have another picture of Lucille, and this is Brandon. So just to give you a little bit of context of why I decided to do these two on the same page is because in my mind I kind of started to ship them just a bit. I think their love for each other would more so be a friendship at first, and then it would blossom into a love for each other eventually. But they both really care for each other, and I just think it's a really cute relationship type. So then I decided to dive more into Brandon, and I gave Brandon a dog, and I gave him a little Dalmatian puppy because he would be very lonely being a new king. Like, nobody really knows how that feels. He just ends up feeling so isolated, even though he has his tutor, his sister, and his sister's tutor. Just, he needs that companionship. It's probably not the best drawn dog in the world, but I thought it was cute. I did try to reference it, and the dog's name ends up being Rona as a reference to where he grew up in Verona. Then we go on to some Drawing Euro C's sketches. This is from episode 9. So we have Tea Blue. And I did start over here. Didn't work out the way I wanted to. I did want to do something more adventurous with the guitar, but in the end, I just could not get it right. So I just thought, you know what? Let's just do it my own way. Even though I wanted to do something more adventurous, I was also testing the big set of Arteza watercolours. So I didn't want anything too complicated in terms of composition, and I was having some severe doubts about some of these compositions. Now, would they work now? Probably, but I really wasn't liking the way they were turning out. So I just went with something a little bit more simple for both pieces in terms of composition. And then we have Marille, or Marille, I think it's Marille. So this next page is another prince. Now, a lot of my characters are royalty. If you don't like that, I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. I like my royal characters, okay? But this prince, his name is Hayako. And the reason why I called him the Masked Prince of Artro is because he is actually in an arranged marriage to Typhi. And this is Typhi. Typhi is Amelia, Brandon's sister's tutor. And because of the traditions, they're not really allowed to meet each other beforehand. So because he doesn't want to marry a stranger just as much as she doesn't, he actually just takes matters into his own hands and he disguises himself and travels to Halle to meet Typhi under the name Hisoki, which I think means secret if I remember correctly. Artro actually has quite the mix of a Japanese and Chinese sort of aesthetic. And when I say it has that kind of mix of aesthetics, I mean it's inspired by a mix of those aesthetics. So it's not blatantly obvious that it's like those two aesthetics, but there's references to that. In terms of these watercolors, I actually can't remember which watercolors I used for this. I think it might be the Arteza ones. I'm not entirely sure. Then we have Typhi again. This is sort of the design I had in mind for when she meets Hayako in Artro. The last thing in this sketchbook is actually something from ages ago. I think I started this sketchbook and I never really showed this, I don't think. This sketch is actually from 2017. Oh, so it's a really, really old sketch, and it's actually of Monica from Doki Doki Literature Club. I actually didn't realise this was in here until I started this sketchbook, so I just thought, you know what, let's keep it in at the end. It's a little blast from the past, almost. I thought it was really fun and cute to keep in. So the next sketchbook is April 30th to July 13th. Now, yes, I did muck up. I put June and was like, I saw it after I'd wrote it. I was like, oh no, I wrote it in Sharpie. So we start off this sketchbook with the swatches of the two scrawler boxes together, just so I could see which colours were in there. The thing about having these two scrawler boxes, the original sketches that I had in mind for this, it didn't match the colour scheme. So I had to go back and forth between both sketchbooks. I think this is where I started to get a little bit confused with it, because I had some sketches that were supposed to be in the other sketchbook and some sketches in the previous sketchbook that was supposed to be in this one. Just, it was a mess. Just, there was a lot going on, okay? I originally thought about Mermaid. That could work. There was also a lot of Lucille and Brandon in this as well. I was trying to think of ways to like include Lucille and Brandon because I was obsessed with drawing them in that moment of like bringing them together, that I was trying to come up with something related to a quote that I could put in as like a piece of like words of wisdom for the scrawler box theme. And it says, time heals a lot of things, time will tell. Did anyone ever tell you not to talk to strangers? Then play with fire and you'll get burned. So I kind of thought about that with Cinder Ash. I have a lot of different OC kingdoms. So we have a lot of Lucille up here, and then we have like this picture of Lorelei. And then we have this sketch, which was kind of the basis for the video where I was doing the watercolor comparison of the cheap watercolor, same as that post-it note. So this character's name is Pele, and then this is her sister Pyra with a fireball hair. Pele has lava hair, whereas Pyra has pigtails that turn into a fireball. Then we have some compositions that I could do, whether it would be Pyra, Pele, and then my mind kind of switched to Vanessa. And I was thinking, how could I do Vanessa? Then I remembered that Vanessa has healing powers, which I thought could be really, really cute with like the Words of Wisdom theme as well as the Enchantress theme. So this was the sketch that I did for that. This was a swatch page of IKEA art supplies. I was going to do a video with IKEA art supplies, but oh, those watercolors were so bad. I didn't want to do it anymore. Then we go on to the next page. We go into June. So this is of Croco, and Croco is the ship name for Christian and Rocco. I've drawn them on the channel before, but I don't draw them enough. I really should. And somebody actually suggested in the comments section that I should do some of my LGBT characters, which I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity to draw Rocco and Christian because they are adorable. I love them. So then we actually get into the Instagram Designs My OC character number 4. In terms of this girl's name, I actually decided to name her after an Instagram comment because the last few characters I've been naming them with YouTube comments. So I thought, why not let an Instagram comment decide? And I actually decided on Aloin, which I think means elm tree. I'm not entirely sure. It's been a little bit since I've looked it up. And again, with this process, if you would like to see the entire process of me making her, I will link the video in the iCard of this video so you can actually go watch it. To those who have already watched this video and might complain about the fact that it was an hour long, I wasn't intending it to be an hour long. I really wasn't, but it just ended up being like that. I think sometimes things just go on for as long as they need, and this one took the whole freaking cake. And then we go into hair swatches. The amount of colour swatches for this one, I thought the amount for Michael was bad, but the amount for Aloin, oh my god. I had such trouble with her colours because there was so many things I wanted with this character because the design was everything my mind wanted, but at the same time I could not come up with colours to save my life. So I just decided to do it off camera because if this was done on camera, God knows how long this video would have been. I think, I'm not exaggerating when I say this, but I think if I would have included the extra colour swatches that I did off camera, it would have been a 2-hour long video. Like, easily. Possibly more. Who knows? But I just could not do that to you guys. I really couldn't. And also, this type of video, although I love the final product, and so do you guys, it can become very tedious to edit. And I think Aloin definitely delivered on the different character aspect because I've never had a centaur character as well as like a unicorn character. I've never had one, and I love how some parts are in my comfort zone and other parts aren't. I think it's just this perfect blend of challenging myself but not going so far outside of my comfort zone to make it bad. Then we have the concept drawings of what to do for the final piece. This was like the original colour sheet that I came up with. So then we reach the middle of the sketchbook and I thought, well, let's do something big for the middle of the sketchbook. It'll be easy to find and it's just a lot of fun. And I actually did this around my nan's house. I didn't get my laptop out the entire time I was there. Like, it was a complete social media Detox. This location is actually one of the halls in Loka. Now, is it the final design? No, but like it was supposed to be a little bit more simplified for me, so that way I could continue drawing it again and again and again. I think if I was to do it like really, really detailed, there'd be some tables around, there'd probably be more floor markings, and this wouldn't be the only hall that Loka has, so I think having this scene just be a simple hall just actually helped me out with like painting it, because it was a nice stress-free type of thing. Now this was completely like freehand. I didn't really plan out this part, and you probably can tell, but I like the way it turned out, all things considered. It could have turned out so much worse. Then we have a Taifi and Hayako picture. Now, around the time that I was designing Hayako, his proper outro look, because originally I came up with his secret identity, Hisoki, first, and the actual real princely character second. Some of the designs are actually in this sketchbook. As I said before, there was a lot of back and forth between these sketchbooks in some areas, and I think with Hayako's design definitely was one of the things that I flip-flopped between sketchbooks. So from Arteza around this time, I received their Everblend markers. Now I will be doing a video on them because Arteza was very, very nice to send them to me. And this was literally just like a first impression, because I'd heard so much about these markers and I was like, yes, I want to test them out in my sketchbook, see how well they work in my sketchbook, and I'll give you my thoughts in said future video. So the next page, we're going on to the Draw This in Your Style episode 3. Now this Draw This in Your Style episode was actually different because it was drawing your guys' artwork. So this one is Winter Warrior by Lari, or Art of a Dreamer on Instagram. I actually got her username wrong. That's supposed to be an underscore. I actually did some of like the moving around digitally, and I did exactly the same when it came to this piece as well. I did the circle background. The actual plants of the final piece with this one in particular, that was just a fluke, spur of the moment kind of thing. It wasn't something that I intended to do, but in terms of this page, this was me swatching out 2 months worth of scrawler boxes. Now, I kind of want to combine these boxes, but at the same time I don't, because for one thing, the themes are very, very opposing, and I don't know what the hell I would do for it. If I was to combine these boxes, what do you think I should do? This one is like Paper Tiger, and this one is Summer Flourish. So if you guys can help me, that would be very, very nice. And I've had some comments saying that they don't want me to combine the boxes, which I'm happy to do separate videos, or have both of them separate but in the same video, or just combine everything into one piece. I don't know. So I'd love your guys' feedback on what I should do for that, because I'm still undecided. So then we have this little sketch of Elowen, and she looks so serene, and her arms look really bad. Oh my god. But I think this was literally just a rough sketch because I really had the urge to draw Elowen, but I didn't know what exactly I wanted to do. So I just made it a really rough around the edges type of sketch, like most of my sketches, to be honest. So then we have some more Taifi. I did a lot of drawings of Taifi because I've been expanding a lot of the Hallie, Navern, Henlin and Artro part of my character universe. And fun fact, Taifi is actually named after a Welsh river. I used to go on holiday down in Wales. On the way, we used to pass the river Taifi, which was near to the village of Henlon. And since I don't go there anymore, I decided why not name some parts of my character universe after parts of my childhood. This is an Artro picture of Typhi. This is like a little pen doodle I did. It's not very good set of roses, but I thought it was cute. Then we have Hayako's imagination. So this next page, yeah, we go from like sketches to like some paintings. I know, it's a bit drastic, but this is literally the inside of my brain. In this section, there is actually quite the time gap, I'd say, between these sketches of Typhi and then this sketch of Thomas. Now, this is Thomas Callisto. He is Nicholas's dad. I'm not going to explain too much about him because a lot about him is actually supposed to be secret. But I can actually explain what I was doing in terms of the materials here. So with the materials, I was actually going through my watercolor collection and I was testing out which ones would work best for like a travel set. I really want to start making a travel set of watercolors because I have my Sakura Koi watercolors, and although I like them, they're kind of a bit chalky. So the case itself for the Sakura Koi watercolors is amazing, but the quality of the paints, not so much. So I was actually going through and reviewing some of the palettes that could be contenders and the quality of the paints that I own. So this first set is actually my Winsor and Newton, and this piece was done with my Winsor and Newton paints as well. I haven't used these Winsor and Newton paints since I was in college. I haven't actually used them since 2015 because I ended up getting other paints and just testing out other different paints throughout the years. But I really like the way this turned out. So Thomas in the main story is dead. However, nobody knows exactly what happened to him. It's like he dropped off the face of the planet. So in terms of this piece, I actually decided to put multiple different scenarios that could have happened in here. I wanted to do that kind of like a ghostly feel about him. I did a little draft sketch of him up there with my Cola Rays pencil. So next we have another picture of Thomas. I just really love drawing Thomas, okay? Like, he's so much fun to draw, and just when drawing him, he's one of those characters that just gives me so many ideas in terms of composition, in terms of everything. Now these paints are actually the Superior paints, and they are from my Wish video. Now these are a strong contender to be my travel set because, for one, the colours, oh my god, just they're beautiful. Will it be my final palette? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know yet. Also, I don't know what was happening here. I think it was just like one of the purple swatches that I just went absolutely mad with. And I think this was mainly done with a flat brush. Now, one of my video ideas for the future is doing a painting with flat brushes. I've seen somebody else do it. I can't remember exactly who, but I remember seeing it as a video. I suggested it on a previous live stream and people seem to like it. If you would like that kind of video, please comment down below. I'm actually really curious to see if people would like this video. But I know it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but I'll leave that opinion up to you guys. If you'd like to see it, comment down below. So the last few pages in my sketchbook was just me playing around with some of the watercolors. I just went ham on this page. You can kind of tell what I was trying to do. I was trying to mix skin tones. And then these were actually some of my random pans of watercolor in my watercolor collection. Some of the Cotman Winsor & Newton, some of the professional Winsor & Newton. And then I also have some tubed watercolor that I got from a scroller box, which was Van Gogh watercolors. If any of you guys down in the comments own Van Gogh watercolors, tell me what you think of them, because I'd really love to know. Should I get my hands on them, or what watercolor brands would you recommend? Because although I have a big watercolor collection, I don't have every brand out there. There's actually some big watercolor brands that I don't actually own anything of, like Core, Daniel Smith. I have very little Van Gogh ones, as you can see. So I'd love some watercolour recommendations down below in the comments. I know that there's probably going to be some that I already have, but it'd be really cool to get your guys' suggestions on what to try next. So this picture is Camilla and Thomas. It's from around the time that they first meet. I wouldn't say it's exactly their first meeting, I'm not entirely sure. But this is definitely before Nicholas would be born. In this picture, I think you can definitely see the similarities of Nicholas between both parents. Now the last page is Hayako. I think this is actually the first picture I did of Hayako, because at the time of drawing this, I was actually halfway through filming the Instagram OC alone. I think this was actually the first sketch of his princely form that I did. And lastly, and very quickly, just to explain this, in the middle of the sketchbook, when I did that picture of Loka, I needed a piece of paper to actually swatch out the colours, because I did a lot of colour mixing, especially with the floor and the pillar. I tore out a bit of the back page. So yeah, that is the end of the sketchbook tour. So I hope you guys enjoyed this sketchbook tour. I know I did. It was really fun going back through the last 2-3 months of my sketches. You can actually see my art block increasing and decreasing as the month goes on. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you can click like and subscribe if you haven't already, with those post notifications on for notifications for every single time I upload a video or live stream. That's when YouTube works, because sometimes it likes to update you guys and then other times it fails. But if you have those post notifications on, you're at least within the chance of being notified when I upload and not just catch it luckily by the subscription page. But I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!